Now we're going to be talking about denotation and connotation, and really what this focuses on is word choice, what words an author chooses to use. So we're looking at the fact that authors are purposeful in what they choose. So let's first look at denotation. The definition of denotation is that it is specifically the dictionary definition of a word. It's the literal meaning. So when you're looking at two words that are synonyms, they're going to have similar denotations. So let's look at these two synonyms. We've got house and home. If you look at this, both of them basically mean the place where somebody lives. So they have a similar denotation or dictionary definition. However, there are slight differences in how we use these words because they bring about different kinds of feelings. If you're thinking about a house, a lot of times you're just thinking about those four walls that you live in. But the home is where your family is. So it just brings about different feelings when you think about those two words. So that brings us to the next point that we want to make, which is connotation. Because when we look at house and home, even though they have a similar denotation or dictionary definition, they have that different connotation, which is the idea or feeling that a word evokes or brings to mind. So house brings about maybe a more warm feeling than home does. And words are typically either going to have a positive or a negative connotation. So let's look at an example. We've got the two words aroma and stench. Both of these words have a denotative definition that's related to a smell. But aroma is typically going to be something that is positive, something you want to smell, like a great cup of coffee. But stench is going to be something that's more negative. That's going to be burnt toast or garlic or something like that, something you're not as happy about. So here's examples of those sentences. The kitchen was filled with the aroma of fresh coffee. Versus, kitchen was filled with the stench of burned bread. Which kitchen do you want to be in? We want to be in that one with the aroma, right? Because it has a positive connotation. So let's look at how that plays into tone and then eventually into mood. So remember, tone is the author's attitude toward a subject. And one of the most important things that we can look at to help determine that is looking at those words that the author chooses, and specifically the connotation of those words, because they do purposely choose those to help establish their tone. So let's look at two ways an author could write a story about a neighbor. The first way, the nosy woman peered through the window tirelessly. Or, the curious woman peeked through the window energetically. We've got the words nosy and curious, which are similar connotation or denotations, but have very different connotations. Peered and peek, same thing. Similar denotations, different connotations. And then we've got tirelessly and energetically. Again, both are very similar words, but when you hear them, it makes you think of something different. So the woman that I would hope was my neighbor is this second woman, not the first. So the next thing that this connotation does is it helps us to determine the mood. And remember, mood is the emotion or the feeling the reader experiences. So we can look at those connotations to help us determine that. So let's look at another example. We've got a story about a sunset. First one is the warm yellow sun tiptoed to the horizon. Or the sweltering sun sank deeply toward the earth. Again, we're talking about a sun. This one's a warm yellow sun versus a sweltering sun. I'd much rather be in number one. This one's tiptoeing to the horizon, which sounds so much more beautiful than sank deeply toward the earth. It just carries a much more ominous feeling in this second example. So we want to make sure that you're looking at what the author is intending with which words they choose and knowing that there is an actual reason why they do choose them to help us determine what that mood and tone is. And it's also something you can use in your own writing to help make it stronger.